This is Angela. I have watercolors, I think, since I was 3. That I can remember anyway. So they would allow me to have watercolors. And when I went to school, I wasn't really big with art, and every Friday we'd have an art class, and we only had watercolors.
Would you say that your childhood influences your art today?
It's possible. My father was an excellent draftsman. He was really an architect. He was good with design. So so it's in my DNA, I guess, and I'm creative.
What would you say are some of your influences for your work today?
Well, my favorite artist is Degas. I love Degas, but I love a lot. I could go back to masters. I like Titian and Botticelli. I like a lot of different artists. But then, I always had good teachers. I have to say that. I had good teachers that taught me the basics. I known Mel Leipzig since I was like 15 years old, and they were all really good. I studied with Mario Cooper right before he passed at the Art Students League, which was in the middle 90s. Like I said, I went there, I had no clue who he was, but I figure I'm going to take a class and try this. It was watercolor, and he wanted me to stop painting, drawing, and painting. He just wanted me to paint blocks. It's geometric, it's shapes. And he goes, "You see the shapes?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Now you know why I want you to paint the blocks." He goes, "Wait a minute." He goes, "Do a study. Do something small." He goes, "Go down and do a collage of it." So when somebody told me collage, I did a collage of it. I took it home, and that week I did a collage of it. I brought it back, and he just smiled. He goes, "It's good." He goes, "But that's not what I meant." He opened up the book and took out colors out of the magazines that he wanted this area to be, but he didn't do the whole piece in it. He did areas of the piece. And he goes, "You see what I mean? How I did, and I figured out this is the colors I want from here, and these are the values." So I was influenced by a lot of different teachers, like I said, Mario Cooper. To this day, Mel Leipzig still critiques my work. And like I said, I remember when I was little and I had to bring home a thing from school and I had to draw a hand and I couldn't make it work. I had my father. So, like I said, I always had somebody there that was very helpful.
So what is your art process like? Do you just paint when the inspiration strikes, or do you plan ahead with multiple different compositions? How do you like to, when you get an idea in your head, how do you go from there?
I'm working with a series of compositions and I create a visual story from them. I observe the subject and I develop preliminary studies, and I develop a final composition. Because I'm from faraway places, that's why I work a series of studies, because it's like last year we were working in Ireland. The year before I was in Israel. And it's not like, okay, I can't do this. Okay, 2 Tuesdays from now I'll come back. I can't do that.
Exactly.
So I will make a lot of drawings, pencil, pen. I would do little studies in paint, watercolor pencils, whatever I can. And I'll take photographs. I always photograph what I drew, so I have something to go back to. And even though if I didn't draw that, I'll take photographs. I have a lot of references that I could refer back to.
So for my last question, this exhibition is an exhibition that really showcases watercolor and the different uses of watercolor and how it can really be this ubiquitous type of medium. What are your thoughts on using watercolor for this whole show?
There's something about when the watercolor hits the paper. There's just something, it's so creative, at first it's like energy and the color. Like I said, you add too much water, the color goes all different ways, but you should know the basics before you start breaking. You should know the rules before you start breaking them. And the only reason I understood that is because Mario brought that in my head, realism, but within the realism, there's a lot of abstraction in my work. So, and he goes, that's because of your design, and it's because of how he had me do all this other steps. I realized that, and that's why I'll figure out the picture. Because, see, when I'm doing the bigger pieces, like I said, like the work from Europe, I can't stay there and do a finished piece. So it's more design. But when I'm home and I'm doing a bigger piece, say I did a piece of street scene in Florence, I have all these different things I have, like references, pieces, but I don't have the piece in front of me. So that's what Mario was trying to, he goes, you just naturally, he goes, he hits my head, he goes, it's in your head. You see it in your head. It's not there, but you see it, and you're doing it, so that's natural for you. And I can thank him for that.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.